I think the positive note is that we are on the same rail, and there has not been quite much of derailing process. So it's really intense engagement. And another positive note is that there are certain challenges that we both build a consensus to acknowledge that. So that's really the basis to find an amiable solution towards the two biggest economies. But of course, there are two sides. On one side, on the interface level, for example, in terms of tariff, in terms of the market access, in terms of the technology transfer, etc. So we have really achieved quite a lot. And the most recent discussion was really fruitful. And on the other side, there are structural changes that are touching very much of the profound issues that are going on in China. And there are cultural and institutional legacies that cannot really be achieved overnight. And the other issue is that, Trump pushes China to make efforts to really to bring a better balance between the two sides. But whether the U.S. can really have enough to sell to China, so that's also a big question. And as for structural changes, so how we can really bring a more satisfactory solution, and if a sort of independent third party is involved for surveillance, and what is this independent third party, and do we really employ the global trading forum like WTO, or simply we find some other alternative country to set up a sort of arbitration. So these are the issues that are not easily addressed.
But what do you make of the sincerity? Because we know it's quite important in negotiations too. It sounds intangible. So do you think the United States is willing to negotiate with China on an equal footing, or it feels like the United States is giving China orders?
Well, I think now we have to really examine what is really the core interest. Negotiation is an art of compromise and concessions. But of course, China knows where is the bottom line. And so, yes, the United States has been typically bluffing to the world, and they want really to squeeze on the other side below their bottom line. But I think China is very confident in defending its bottom line. But on the other side, we also are there to reflect that certain requests are really in the interest, at least long-term interest of China, for example, to bring equal and fair level playing field between different nature of companies, be it state-owned ones or private companies or foreign firms. So we are not really simply offering this one particular one to the U.S. firms, but we're really offering this to the global one, and also to enlarge Chinese imports from the most of the trading partners can really benefit the Chinese consumers, and also to bring less restrictions in terms of the trade imbalance. So these are really in the interest of China. That yes, U.S. is requesting that, and so which means that we have synchronized interest. But in the meantime, U.S. also has to make certain moves towards that. One is that can you really roll back on the 10% tariff, and also that can you really enlarge the sales list from the high tech to China. So both sides have to make certain efforts. But of course, the recognition of certain problems that are with consensus, and also to be sincere towards the other, is the beginning to find a better solution.